Small business owners, listen up. This is the Small Business Saturday podcast series. Once a week, every Saturday, we highlight a small, local, unique business owner to tell their story as to how they got started and how they grew their business. We're starting here specifically in the city of Philadelphia and then expanding. You're probably thinking of the day after Black Friday being Small Business Saturday. Well, we expanded upon that with a weekly podcast and a monthly video series highlighting these unique small business owners across the city. So if you are an entrepreneur or small business owner, stay tuned. We've got a great episode for you. If you want to get involved, send us a message and remember to shop small. All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of Small Business Saturday. My name is Mac Frederick, your host, and I am here with our new friend, Tyrese Burton, with Mom's Mobil Oil Change here in the Philadelphia area. Tyrese, it is a pleasure to have you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. I know we were just kicking it a little bit and just finding out more about your business and just giving you the backstory on Small Business Saturday. You know, it's people like you who really embody what we're looking for in a small business owner, because I mean, how many different hats do you wear just day to day running your business?
Oh, the Mad Hatter. I'm the Mad Hatter. I'm got on every hat in the store. I'm the HR. I'm marketing. I'm the accounts receivable. I got to do everything, and I got to actually do the work that the business is
Right,
generating.
right.
So,
It's complicated. I mean, whenever you're doing so many different things as a small business owner, it's tough to get them done at the level that you want them to get done in order to grow and, you know, hire and improve and get more business. So, I mean, the day in the life of you, I guess before we jump into that, you know, tell me and everybody listening really quickly, Mom's Mobil Oil Change. First off, where'd you get the name? And second off, tell me your story, man. How'd you get your start?
Mom's Mobil Oil Change. The name came. I was just trying to come up with something catchy that was oil related, and it's an acronym for Mobil Oil Management Solutions, as we deal in many aspects, many phases, and what's that word? As you know what I mean, of the oil industry, as far as waste oil removal, recycling, selling products. So I wanted something that would the Mobil Oil Change, as well as, you know, let people know that we do that. So I went back and forth with something like black gold, because oil is like gold, black gold, liquid gold. And it came down to, I'm a single father, and moms just made perfect sense. So I said moms, and then I had to make up an acronym, and it was like, okay, Mobil Oil Management, as we do deal in all aspects of oil. And I came up with that name. And the business idea came from, I was working at a cancer research laboratory, and I was sitting on my lunch break. One of my coworkers needed an oil change. Job was stressing me out. I'm like, I always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I'm like, I need to start my own business. I need an oil change. I'm going to start driving around, jacking people's cars up and doing oil changes right on the spot. And my friend was like, you know, that's a really good idea. And we talked a little more about it. I went back doing some research, seeing that I wasn't a genius. So it did exist in some little places around the world. And I just built and started building, and came up with an idea turned into a business, a physical thing.
So it's just you, right? There's nobody else who's helped started it, any partners or anything?
No, it's just me. It's just me. I bootstrapped it from the beginning.
Whew.
I had some savings in the beginning, so I took my money and I bought a truck, and I researched all of the equipment that I needed. So I pre-started, because I could have went out and bought into a franchise, but it was too expensive. So
How much? What were the prices you were looking at?
It was about 45 to 50,000 starting, depending on which system you wanted, because they had different systems they were offering. And I had a nice job, but my money management wasn't that good. So the money I was making, I was spending. And then when I got the idea, it was like probably like most business owners, it's like, oh, I gotta get this done. You know, you start having that first to market fear. And I was like, I gotta get it done, gotta get it done. So I figured out how to do it cheaper. I pieced it together. Everything that they were offering as a package, I went out and got it separately, individually, put everything together in the van, looked up all of the laws, the legalities of running this type of business. And my friend Anna was my first customer, my coworker, my first client was my friend. She was so excited that I was starting,
Yeah.
and then
So
yeah,
she just
and that's
knew
how I
like what
got
you were putting
started.
together. So like you told her about like your idea and what you wanted to do, and she was like, it's those first people that are willing to invest in you and believe in you. But starting with that first customer, I mean, how did you really grow from there? Like, how did you get the word out? Because starting a business from scratch, not having a customer base already is very difficult. So what did you do in that case?
From there, I think I started off doing all the wrong things or the things that didn't work. I can't say they were wrong because they may be right for someone else, but all of the things that didn't work, passing out flyers, begging my friends to repost me on their Facebook and their social media. And once I realized that I had to do something different, for the first maybe 6 months, I would just go out every morning to gas stations, and I would go to like office parks and businesses where people were going to work in groups and catch them as they were getting out of their cars going into their offices. And I would pass out business cards and, hey, how you doing? I'm Tyrese. I got this new thing going and this, putting flyers on cars and just driving around. I had no advertising budget, so I wasn't paying for anything.
Really? So
And
you were just doing like
it
all grassroots, like bootstrap, just knocking on
guerrilla
doors.
marketing,
Yeah.
putting
What
stickers on
was
places where they wasn't supposed to be, and sticking my business cards in places, and just trying to get the word out there that it existed.
Honestly, that's what you got to do though. Like if you don't have much money, it's like you can't pay for an agency, you can't buy ads, plus you don't know like, what you're getting even if you do. So a lot of small business owners I talk to, they've got to do these more traditional grassroots marketing things that they know, and just like putting themselves out there and like taking these risks. What do you think worked the best for you?
I think as far as the grassroots guerrilla marketing tactics, I think talking to people was the best, because even with talking to people, it I realized that a lot of people may, oh, I get my oil change here, oh, my husband does this, but even those people were like, oh, this is a great idea. So what that led me into was, oh, well, do you think, I know your husband does yours, but do you think you can take a business card and post it on your page or tell your friends about it who he doesn't do? So it led me to start not looking at everyone in themselves as a potential customer, but as a potential voice for more marketing and more advertising and more word of mouth. It became more important to me that if this person told 10 friends, it was more important that they ever got their oil change from me. And just being out there talking to people, that was the best thing. it made me feel so comfortable. It made me more confident, and it gave me more confidence to go to businesses. So then I realized that I could go to B2B and not just B2C. And now I'm at a plumbing supply place or talking to the fleet manager for them. And this is a more productive conversation. So I think going out and talking to people, customers, not necessarily like networking events, but actual potential customers and people out there. I think that's one of the best things that happened for me for as
Yeah,
far as the grassroots.
that's a really good point. And it sounds like, okay, word of mouth is great because you get the trust of another human being and convince them that you can do the job for them. It's a relationship and you're building value. But it sounds like a lot of that conversation with word of mouth has now gone online, meaning not just in person, but social media is also becoming the word of mouth. Would you say that's true with your business? It sounds like a lot of people are like sharing you online.
Yeah, it for me it's actually it's become a shit almost a 100, not 100, but 90% shift from talking to people on the street and in person to actually talking to them on social media. And I think it's two reasons for that is because in the beginning I really didn't know how to use social media in a effective way at all. And I was more comfortable and more effective with talking to people. That was more old school salesman, knock on the door, get the sale type of thing. So now that business is growing and I'm actually doing more work and not more talking to people, I have to find other ways to utilize my time more effectively. So we all know that social media it covers more people than you being out in a place that's regulated. So I started learning. I had to go back and learn how to use social media. And the first thing I had to learn was which social media to use. And it was Instagram versus Facebook versus all of them. So I started using Instagram. And again, it was, hey, can you share this? Hey, you want your oil change? Hey, I do this, which was ineffective. So I went back to what I was doing in the streets and just having conversations with people online, building up a presence, brand awareness, just letting them know that I'm out there, and if they want to talk to me about this or that, their car, or their anything they see anything, I'm here.
Right.
And that's what took me to the another level um, and social media. So now, like you said, I do have people that's willing to share me or that's willing to take a look at me. You don't. I learned now sometimes you can just do certain things, and then someone will look at your page, and then they'll say hi to you. And I know some people may think saying hi to that person is more effective, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's dropping a high five will make a person engage with you. And sometimes you do need to engage with that person and say, hey, hi, or hey, this is what I have or what I want to say to you. So, yeah, the conversation for me has switched to social media. And now I'm doing the exact same thing that I was doing out in the streets on social media. And it's effective with a greater reach.
That's a great point. Would you say Instagram is what you use the most and is most effective?
Yeah, Instagram is the most effective for me. As far as I focus most of my time and my social media uh, dollars, my mental dollars. That the guy, Mr. Gary, calls it the mental dollars. You have to spend your mental dollars, and that's where I spend most of my mental dollars, as well as my physical dollars on Instagram, because Facebook is a different platform every social media has their demographics, and for me, yes, Instagram is where my target customers are, and that's where I get my most reach at.
Yes. So with that being said, Instagram is by far the most engaged platform from a social perspective. It's almost 10 times more engaging than any other platform, including Facebook and Twitter and even YouTube. So it's just where people's attention is, and it's where you can have a conversation and develop an audience. So it's funny thinking, oh, well, this oil change business could be popular on Instagram. It doesn't sound like a typical influencer or like product or clothing brand. It's not something you would usually even see on Instagram, but it's funny how that is actually where you're getting most of your responses.
Yeah, that's really funny that you say that, mention the word influencer, because when you think of Instagram as a whole, like what is Instagram? It's not the Instagram from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, like my picture, It's really
Right.
how is Instagram going to make money? That's what everybody wanted to know, and now we know. So, and it is for businesses, but for me, again, back to what we were talking about, like in the beginning, Instagram was a sales tool, but it
Right.
wasn't effective as a sales tool for me because they were shifting. They were shifting to what they who they are now, and where they probably will be in a few more years. So it led me into that space of, am I an oil change company, or am I some type of official influencer growing in the auto field, the Instagram world, the oil change world? It's a combination of all of them, where it's just for, like, I think if you can figure out your algorithm, then you can be effective on Instagram. And I'm getting my algorithm down on Instagram. And for me, my algorithm is 70% information, 20% entertainment, and about 10% sales. And that's what builds my engagement. Nobody cares if I post a thing saying oil change is $29.99. They know that.
Right. 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 So
And that's why, especially my followers, they definitely know that, because that's why they follow me, so they don't forget who I am. But once they don't forget, now they're following me to see what else can they see. They don't want to see that popping up on their timeline every 10 minutes.
right. So you
So
try to position yourself as more of a thought leader, providing value around, getting better performance out of their, vehicles, I'm assuming.
yes, and it's switching, because like you said, everything starts off. Now, some people, for me, I didn't have a clear plan as far as Instagram. It started off as a sales tool. Hey, come buy this, buy this, come buy this. But now that like you said, I'm becoming more of a thought leader and more of a person that's there. Is like, what value do I bring to these people? Moms has its own value. And Moms, as a company with word of mouth, doesn't need to advertise at all. But me, as Tyrese, the owner of Moms, the representative of Moms, Moms representing me as I am a person on Instagram, then I can bring the value that I have as a person and a company, and that is knowledge and information and resources. So
So
yes, it builds me to the path of being a thought leader, because it's like the things that I post on my page are of value.
let me
And
backtrack a little bit. Take it a step back. How long have you been in business? How long have you been around doing this?
I've been in Pennsylvania. I have two. There's two stories to Miles Mobile Oil Change. Miles Mobile Oil Change started off in 2001 as A1 Mobile Oil Change in Los Angeles, California. And that's back when I was sitting in the car with my friend, my coworker, at lunch, and started. We ran for about 3 years in Los Angeles. Did pretty good. Life changed, and I had to shut down. I moved to Pennsylvania, So we've been in Pennsylvania since 2013, 5 years, and we've been Moms Mobile ever since then. Rebranded and relaunched here in Pennsylvania for about 5 years.
So you still don't have a partner like you used to when you had your other one in LA, but now it's mainly like you as the owner and founder. Do you have a team that works around you who helps you do the oil changes or anything else?
No, well, in LA, it was just me again. He was my coworker who helped me with the idea. He didn't want anything from me. He just was like, hey, dude, I mean, I just know I saw him. He knew about mobile. He didn't know about mobile oil changes, but he knew that no one takes their boat in to get an oil change. So the system that they were using on boats was the system that he had introduced to me, the evacuation system, which is the basis of most mobile businesses. Is evacuation to take the fluid out. So, and then here it's just me. I have one part-time. I wouldn't say he's an employee. I would say he's more like a partner. I mean, he's not a partner in the business, but he does a lot of the things that an employee would do as far as the work, as
Right.
far as and he helps me out a lot. And it's not an employee boss relationship because we're friends. There's no hierarchy. There's a hierarchy, obviously. I own the business. I'm responsible for certain things, but he just helping me along. He understands that we're still growing, and he could go down to Jim's Auto Change and probably get 12, 15K a year. Hanging out with me, he probably only gonna get 5 to 7 a year, but he gonna learn. He gonna grow, and we're going to grow together because he's a business owner too. So we help each other out in that aspect. So it's just me and him, and my daughter. You may have seen her on my Instagram or on my webpage. She helps out a lot, making her little posts and her little addition to the entertainment side of the mom's social media. And she's getting more involved in the internet side. She's going to start taking over more of the blog. Not taking it over, but I'm gonna have her writing a couple pages for the blog, deciding what's going to get posted on Instagram and stuff. And yeah, just until
It's funny the point you made about boats. I didn't even think about like, okay, how do people get the oil in their boat changed? Because are they taking it somewhere? Is it more difficult to change? What all devices, what all, I guess, vehicles do you change oil for? What's common and what all do you cover?
my mostly is the automobiles is our number one that we work on, and that's because our target, our client market, we market towards automobiles. Um, I was at one location. I did the lady's car, and she called me in the back. Said, "Oh, excuse me, can you change the oil on this?" I'm like, "What is it?" I look, and it's a lawnmower. So I'm like, "Oh yeah, I could change the oil on a lawnmower." And, so like I told her, I guess if it has oil and it needs to be changed, I can change it. I can do a tractor, a big rig. I can do a backhoe. Anything that has an oil in the filter that needs to be changed. Moms will change the oil and the filter on there properly according to manufacturer specifications. But our primary client right now, I do a lot of transit vans. I know some of your listeners, and maybe you as well, have ordered from Amazon.
Yeah,
And you see a little white truck pull up at your house. Some of them
right.
have whiting, some of them have black. Uh, that's my client. So I service those vehicles, and they're Amazon's largest subcontractor for all the deliveries in the Philadelphia, New Jersey, and parts of New York. I don't go to New York, but they cover parts of New York area. And my business consumes primarily maybe 90% consumer, 10% fleet right now, which I'm trying to change, but I'm happy with the B2C.
Yeah, I guess getting those B2B deals with like fleets would really make a big difference because then it's, you could almost make it a monthly recurring thing and, it's predictable revenue and you can, really increase the amount of transactions.
Yeah. Only thing about those guys is they don't pay their invoices on time, but but
True.
that's where the basis of the business is. I mean, because even for um consumers, customer retention with consumers, depending on your market, a lot of people are neglect. I think oil changes are the number one neglected service on a vehicle. No one neglects a bad tire. No one neglects bad brakes or broken windshield. The oil change, you just watch those numbers go from 100 to 200 to 300. Oh, wait, look, I'm 2,000 miles over my oil change. So
Right.
there's a large, education factor that plays in the part with the consumers, and that goes back to being a thought leader on the Instagram. Gives me a room to do a lot of informative stuff, which I'm getting more geared towards car maintenance, just information, informative information. A lot of people probably never change the air filter in their car. They
And
just don't know when to.
right. And so you're on demand in Philly, tell us about being in Philadelphia and, how you like the area and what service areas you cover as well.
Currently, for residential and consumer, we cover Philadelphia, Bucks County, and Montgomery County. For fleets, it depends. I have fleets in New Jersey, and so it doesn't matter for fleets really. Um, Philadelphia, I primarily but the basis of the business is convenience. So the most convenient time and place for those that work and live in Philadelphia would be to get it done while they're at work. And we have a simple booking process. You can go right online, book your appointment. You show up at your job. You don't even have to come out. We can come in and get your keys. You never leave your desk. So Philadelphia has been good to me. A lot more. North Philadelphia, Fishtown, Brewery Town's been pretty good. I don't go to South Philly too much. But again, if you're listening and you're at work and you've been needing the oil change, that's the perfect time to get it done. And that would be the best time I would recommend.
That's awesome. What, I guess, a couple of final questions here. What really made a major impact on sales? Like what started bringing you money so that you could start growing the business?
The fleet that we just spoke of,
The fleet services.
consumer,
Okay.
the fleet services. Consumer always been, I can drive around in my van. Someone will see my van. They say, hey, can you do my oil change right now? So I can get business from, residential customers and consumer drivers from general advertising, general word of mouth, just being around. And that was doing good. I was still working a regular job, not a regular job, but a job unrelated to the oil change. And everything was cool, doing oil changes here and there, 1 or 2, 3 or 4, just growing the business, keeping happy, staying in business. And then one night, about 10:30 at night, I got a call. And I'm like, hey, Mom, Mobil Oil Change, Tyree speaking. And the man on the other end of the phone is like, oh, I didn't expect anyone to answer the phone. I was going to leave a message. So I'm like, well, now I'm on the phone. You want to talk? You want to leave a message? So we end up talking. And that's when it was the guy that owns all of those vans. He's like, my name is Kevin. I own 300 vans. We do this and that. I'm looking for someone to service them. I want you to put me together a quote. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. Is this real? Like, wait, I'm waiting for Ashton Kutcher to pop out. It can't be real, you know? Put the quote together. He said, okay. Sent them over a contract, just a simple contract, just to protect me from another mobile service coming in and undercutting me without me knowing and being able to counteract the deal. He signed it, started service the next week, and it seemed like once that happened, then I got a call from another company that wanted me to do their fleet. They were smaller. They only had, not only, they were smaller. They have 8 vehicles, but it was like, wait, am I on some type of database now?
Right.
Because it's like now they know. Did they tell their friends or something? Because now it just, then the consumer picked up, and with that, it gave me more confidence to be like, okay, wait, maybe I can get fleets now. Because, you know, it was the apprehensive, like, well, you know, I didn't go to business school. I didn't have a business plan, a marketing plan. I had an idea and a bunch of bad ideas. And it gets discouraging at times. And it's like, okay, well, am I at the top? You know, I mean, when you look at businesses, like who's at the top? The business is making $1 million, or the business is making 200,000. I mean, I'm sure both their owners are happy. The 200 might not even ever want to be $1 billion company. So it was like, okay, maybe I'm just a $300 a year company, and I did it though. How many people out there want to do it? I did it. I'm gonna take my revenue $300 a year, and I'm gonna be happy. And I started, you know, feeling that way kind of. But once the business came in and the money started coming in, which is not like, you know, rolling in the dough, but it was like, okay, it's real now. Now you're actual business. You got fleet customers, you got residential customers, you're rolling. And
So
that's when, about a year ago.
did you ask these customers actually how they heard about you and found out about you?
Well, I started, now I do, I mean, not now, but, you know, at a certain point I started, so it's now too. But now I ask them, where did they find me at? And ironically, a large 90% of them just find me on Google when they're searching for mobile oil changes. So I like to think that the times have moved forward where before people were searching for oil changes, and now they're searching for mobile oil changes. So with the time moving forward and me learning more about SEO a little more, and my page being a little more optimized for just oil changes in general, it helps with that on the search. And then being optimized for mobile oil changes, it helps because people are actually searching for mobile oil changes. So every time
Right.
someone searches for a mobile oil change, bam, that's me. And then
Exactly.
whatever percentages of the times that they're just searching for regular oil changes, that's me too. And I got to get that worked out. So, like, I know you guys know, like, that's what you do, SEO and search engine optimization. And I don't know if I answered your question, but I wanted to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Like, as far as search engine optimization, like, is backlinks a good way to go for local?
It's a great question. So backlinks, you know, for those listening, that's when another website links to your website, and it's basically, you know, another website telling you you're popular, whether they're linking from a picture, a word, whether it's their blog or just a piece of content. they're giving you credit and they're referring to you. And there's good links and there's bad links. So there's something called white hat versus black hat backlinking. White hat is like the good, proper way that you're supposed to go about it. Whether that's somebody just giving you credit because they know and they've heard about you and they want to tell people about you, or you asking a blogger or getting some press release or some news or media outlet picking it up. Black hat bad backlinks is when you're spamming the internet trying to get everybody to link to your site from all these sketchy third-party sites and directories, which isn't very good. To answer your question, backlinking is still important. That's not going away. I mean, Google literally founded their company with the name Backrub, which was based on backlinking. And then they changed their name a couple years later. But it is still relevant. What you need to do when backlinking is either just provide a really good product or service where people can't help but talk about it, or be very creative and strategic in talking to the right people and working with bloggers and media companies and news companies to get their word out about your product or service. But with Mom's Mobil Oil Change specifically, Tyrese, yes, it is relevant, but not as relevant for local search traffic and local SEO. What I usually recommend a lot of the local businesses who we work with is focusing on your Google My Business listing. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, I have. I have one.
So, people who have asked this question before and people I've talked to, there's a lot you can do, especially if you're like a booking, service company that allows booking. And so if I look at your mobile listing here, there's a couple things I'd say. One, you have an awesome amount of reviews and good reviews. Keep that up. Ask all of your customers to rate your review whenever you're done doing a service for them. The more good quality reviews, the better your chance of ranking above competitors. And make sure you respond to those reviews as well. The main call to action here is schedule, and book. That's perfect. That's what people are looking for. Most people are either looking for a price or looking to schedule something. It looks like there is also a link out to your website from your local listing, and you have your phone number, hours. What you see here and what you probably should be doing is adding more images and adding branded images and creating posts. It's almost like social media posts, but it's called Google My Business posts. Have you tried any of those yet?
Okay. No, actually, I'm glad you mentioned that because I've been getting, emails from them, and now I guess I'm more active with Google, so they're telling me stuff about Google My Business. Oh, create a post. Your post is about to expire. More businesses get this, yada yada. So I didn't understand it at first. So I would post a picture once in a while. I just turned on the booking because I was like, I don't really want people booking me through Google. So I didn't really understand how important that it was, or how. So I'm glad that you hear that, because that's important for me, and I think other business owners to know in the service field, because I think we think of Google as just the search result. And if, my business is building up a community like you just said, then we need our service people and other businesses alone.
Right.
Then we need to be taking advantage of that.
So definitely add more posts. You want to make sure you have it labeled as you provide a mobile service instead of like a brick and mortar retail location, which I'm assuming you do. Most of the most local search traffic is mobile. Almost 70% of search traffic is mobile now. So people are going to be able to schedule or call you directly from their local Google search. And you also want to prioritize using your Google My Business phone application. So there should be an app for iOS and Android that's called My Business. Download that, and it lets you upload pictures, respond to reviews, do posts, a lot of different things to optimize your Google My Business listing. You can also, and I'll do it right now while we're on the phone, is you can run a local listing audit, which will give you a score, and you can do that through Yextermoz. We're partnered with them. They're not sponsoring this podcast or anything, but We're partnered with them. And so if I were to run, if you want me to run your score real quick,
Sure.
I'll run it with Moz Local. Basically, you just put in your name and your zip code. And what would the zip code be for you? I see you're an Ambler.
19002.
So if I check your listing on Moz Local SEO Audit, it says you're verified, it has your information, but it's giving you a very low score. It's giving you, which is fine. You've plenty of room for improvement. So I'll send you over your score. It's basically saying you're on Facebook, Google, and Yelp, but you don't have any of your other local listings or directories like Yellow Pages, Axiom, City Search, Insider Pages, a lot of these other local listings and directories. One thing that's really important for a lot of local search volume is you start with your Google My Business listing and you completely optimize that, and then you go to Yelp, and then you go to Facebook, and then you go to Yellow Pages, then you go to Bing, then you go to Hotfrog, then you go to Foursquare, then you go to all these local listings and directories. And if your NAP, it's called your NAP consistency, which is your name, address, and phone number.
Yeah.
If that is consistent across the internet, Google is going to prioritize showing your business in local search results ahead of your competitors.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. In that regard, right there, do you recommend a small business owner that had a somewhat? Let's assume they got a couple $100 budget a month at least. Do you recommend that they use a service like Yext? Because for them to do the local listing is going to get really, it's going to be a lot time consuming for them, depending on what they're doing, you know.
Right.
There's a lot of local listings out there that you, like you said, that you need to be on. The ones you mentioned, and there's tons that you didn't even mention. So, do you think that it's worth the investment to have a service
Great question.
maintained? Well, Yext is just, I guess, the dashboard. So you're paying for the dashboard, but it's monthly. So you're going to have to, you know what I mean? People, like me, I have a hard time seeing the value in the monthly subscription to a service like that.
So to answer your question, everybody always has options, no matter what you're doing in life, whether it's business or what else. And your options in this case, or any small business owner, is okay, I either do it myself, I pay someone else to do it, or I pay for a service, which is the software, which is Yext or Moz. Yext covers more ground. They cover more listings and directories. It is a paid service, and they make you sign up for like a long-term. They make you sign up for like an annual contract in most cases. But really, in my opinion, you can do that, or you can buy Moz, which is like $200 a year, or you can pay like an intern or like, a friend or someone to do it, because it does take a lot of time, and you still can't even access all of the listings or directories unless you actually go through a platform like theirs, because they have the partnerships in the syndication software. So my suggestion is use this is what I do. This is what I do. I pay Moz. I run my score on Moz. I completely, beef out my Google and my Yelp and my Facebook and my Bing, and then I use the syndication software for the rest. And I'll pay the Moz subscription for the whole year at $200, and then I'll sign up for Yext, and I'll run Yext for a couple months, because it only takes them like 1 or 2 months to actually push your information out to the directories.
Okay.
And then I'll stop paying. Then I'll just like cancel it and be like, hey, we're good, because it's already out there. The benefits of using it ongoing for Yext is, you can make changes and updates and add pictures, and it'll, all the stuff that you should be doing monthly, Yext can help with, and it can do reporting and notifications and all these other things. But I don't think it's as pivotal for your monthly payment. So that's what I'd do. A couple $100 takes care of it.
Okay, cool. And you guys can help a small business like put together a plan a budget plan with the, you know what I mean? Something like, this is my budget. What do you recommend me doing as a DIY? Or if I can't afford to come to you and hire you, can I pay you to put me together a plan? You know, they have the social media calendars, something that sometimes people who aren't as organized can have something that's structural, because a lot of guys don't have business plans, marketing plans, you know, and they can't afford, some of them, a lot of them can't afford to pay what is being charged.
Right.
And they don't have the time and the mindset to take advantage of the free resources, because like you said, there's a ton of free resources out there, but you're going to have to go through the wormhole to get to them, man. So do you offer anything like on a smaller level where it's like, okay, this can help you, and
That's
it'll
funny.
give them a little direction?
Yeah, it almost seems like that question's prompted, which it's not, because it's sort of the premise of this whole series is because not all these small businesses can afford an agency or afford a contractor or consultant or anybody to do this for them. We don't actually provide these smaller packages, but however, that is why we run this series, is so that we can answer your questions and provide some insight and feedback on how to grow your business and how small businesses can grow and what they can do on their own and how they don't need an agency and how they could waste their money doing certain things.
Right.
What I would tell you as far as some of my advice, without digging deeper into it, there's a lot of research I could do. SEO is going to be one of your best friends. Obviously, you're talking about local versus, web traffic and national, but, getting some of that local SEO traffic, using your Google My Business listing is very important. Using social media and word of mouth, maybe creating like a really good email list or some sort of way that you can communicate with your customers. Maybe it's SMS, like texting monthly or emailing. I would also think about even running paid ads on search terms that you aren't showing up for, maybe running Google search ads and learning more about that. There's always a will and a way. And, we tend to work with small to medium sized businesses that are at a certain level, but, not everybody can always afford an agency. So I want to thank you for jumping on this call. I think this was great. If you do have more questions, feel free to reach out to me or the team. Do you have any last minute questions before we sign off here?
No, thank you. That was great. One question for us, for me and the listeners. Google, CPC or just pay for impressions? What do you think?
Oh,
Recommend?
for a service business, no way I'd pay for impressions. It's CPC all day, because you're going to pay for people who are looking for what your service is, and they're looking for you instead of, seeing an ad somewhere where it's not even relevant for them. So you're not a big brand like Pepsi or Nike. You want to pay for cost per click.
Right. Okay. Makes sense. That was one thing I was dealing with too. Like, oh, wow, I'm paying 15 cents for the tire kickers, but really at the end of the day, like you said, these are people who are looking for what you offer and not just being pushed in front of them.
Tyrese, it's been an
Again,
absolute
thank you.
pleasure. Thank you so much. The first of many Small Business Saturday podcasts here at Momentum Digital. Thank you so much for your time. Moms is a great brand. I appreciate everything you've done. You're just getting started, and there's a lot of fun to come. For everybody listening, this has been an amazing episode with Tyrese Burton and Mom's brand of mobile oil change here in Philadelphia area. Tyrese, thank you, and we'll catch everybody next week.